It's 3:30 a.m. and today is the day that we're going to Inner Mongolia. I didn't just wake up because I actually couldn't sleep at all. I woke up really late yesterday, which is for me is still kind of today. I woke up really late, and fortunately that made it hard for me to fall asleep, and I didn't fall asleep at all, so in the end I just kept awake. And yeah, it's still dark outside, as you can see. And yeah, I was tired, but I got my bags and I got up on the bus, and now we just arrived in Inner Mongolia at our first stop where we got our first meal of the day. In Inner Mongolia, we got some lunch, and yeah, everybody's pretty much tired. It's a long bus ride, but we're gonna be in that bus so much more. You can just wait and see.
Beijing Normal University. To be honest, it's not Chinese, but most of us here all of
One thing about Inner Mongolia is that there was literally goats everywhere. Everywhere, I'm not kidding. And yeah, lots of cows, lots of horses. And it's so nice to look at, to be honest. The weather was so gray though. Finally, we arrived to our first pit stop, and it was this group of volcanoes. I think they were called Wulanhada Volcano Geopark. And yeah, it literally looked like you're on Mars. And unfortunately, it rained a lot, but it was still fun and it was still very interesting to see. And yeah, we still had a long ride ahead to go to the dinner location and then the hotel, but we were literally drenched, like we were soaking wet, and this was our clothes. And yeah, after a couple hours being wet in the bus, we finally went to our dinner location with a nice hot pot, but like my socks were literally still so cold and wet, it was hard even to enjoy this. Okay, so now we just woke up. It's like 6:30 and we're gonna go to have some breakfast. We just got ready. And then today we're going to the Kubuqi Desert, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And as well as some grassland to do a lot of different stuff. But there's still a long bus drive over there. But yeah. So we went down to get breakfast at the hotel, and it's just like a regular Chinese breakfast, like a buffet with a bunch of different things. There was baozi, just eggs, rice, noodles, whatever you could eat, and some vegetables, so it was pretty decent. Okay, so we just finished eating and returned back from breakfast, and in like half an hour we're gonna go to the bus and drive to the desert. So in the desert, we have like the options of riding either a camel or going on the ATV, I think. And then afterwards, we'll go to a grassland where we will ride some horses. And the weather's been kind of confusing because yesterday it rained all day and was really, really cold. But when I look at the weather forecast for the desert, it's looks like it's gonna be hot with no risk of rain. But yeah, none of us knows. We'll see. We'll see how it is. But yeah, we're gonna leave in like half an hour to go there. So yeah, now we're back on the bus and ready to drive for a few hours again. Like this trip to Inner Mongolia had so much bus riding, but I mean, actually it was fine. Like especially when you sit by the window, you can see the landscape, some landscapes that you've never seen before, especially as a Danish person. One thing that was kind of interesting about Inner Mongolia is that they have a lot of these ghost towns, and even though like there's more than 1 million people living in that town, like it still looks so post-apocalyptic. Like just look at this. Like is it damaged or is it just unfinished? Like I don't even know. But there was a lot of cities like that in Inner Mongolia, and most of them are just unfinished buildings. And the biggest ghost town in the world is also located in Inner Mongolia, so it's really interesting. As you can see, these buildings also just empty or abandoned, I don't know. And yeah, it's really interesting because these clips were actually from the biggest city, hotpot, and like there's many residents in hotpot, so yeah, it's very weird, very post-apocalyptic feeling. Like there's no people in these cities, but when you Google how many residents there are so many, so it's very weird. And yeah, here we actually just arrived to our destination. We're on our way to the desert, but to get to the desert, we had to drive one of these like big truck things. I guess it drove kind of like an ATV, but with space for like, I don't know, 15 people. It was so fun though because it drove over all the bumps, so it was a fun After a long day of doing various activities in the desert, we finally arrived at the grasslands where we're going to stay overnight at these yurts. And funny thing is, the guide, she told us in the bus that we're going to sleep in actual yurts, like on the ground with sheepskins, no bathroom. But that definitely weren't the case. These were in fact like real hotel rooms with a heater and a bed and a bathroom. And people were kind of excited to be sleeping in like an authentic yurt. But to be honest, I think at this point, it was also quite late. Most people were actually okay, happy with the beds because we were really tired. And yeah, the bathroom is not that fabulous. But yeah, we had a place to relax and sleep after the dinner, so yeah, that was fine. And yeah, this dog, he was so cute but a little bit fat. But yeah, then we went to dinner and there was planned a lot of different festivities and shows. And some of the other students on the trip, they were wearing the traditional Mongolian clothes because they're gonna participate in an activity later on. And yeah, I'll get to that, so just enjoy the dinner for now.
happy with Eid. Maybe she'll get to eat for like tomorrow. Let's say